You may have seen an article in the paper yesterday of Commander Bilodeau with an interview about the C.A.N program. And you should see one coming up in the Sequim Gazette this next week. We met with a reporter yesterday, and one of our auxiliarists who can't be here today had a good success in seeing somebody in a canoe. I sent it out to you some time back because it happened in July last year. But he saw somebody in a canoe who appeared to be in trouble, and typically you don't have a lot of canoes in the strait, and it looked like he was being swept further and further out, even though he didn't appear to be in an emergency, but it looked like he could be in danger. So the fellow notified me. I basically said this isn't a real emergency, but it certainly is unusual. Let's let the Coast Guard decide what to do. And they actually sent a boat by trailer from Port Angeles here down to John Wayne Marina, launched the boat, went out, talked to the fellow, and eventually dragged him on board their inflatable and took him back to John Wayne. Was that a life-saving thing? Don't know. Was the guy happy to get help? Probably. So, you know, we may have had a life-saving thing in there, but the good point is we don't need to know. All we know is we did a service to the people. Getting feedback is one of the difficult things because we never know the nature of what's going on out there in terms of the activity that the Coast Guard is dispatched to assist. So, you know, it very well could be some malevolent type event, and again, we don't necessarily need to know any of the details. All that we know is we had a role. We've got some literature in the back, and during the break, if you haven't had some, I invite you to pick up some pieces of paper about C.A.N and some of our maritime safety and security things, so hopefully you'll avail yourselves of that. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Canadian counterpart to our program. The RCMP people who manage this counterpart program in Victoria couldn't be here today. It turns out the fellow was on vacation and said he already had plans and just couldn't make it. So anyway, we hope to catch him another time because he is very interested in helping out and coordinating programs so that we're kind of on the same wavelength. They have a very active program. Theirs is called the Airport/Coastal Watch program. And this fellow is more involved with the Coastal Watch side, similar to what our C.A.N is. But they do have a part of that called C.A.N, Citizens Action Network, over there. And I had a newsletter. It was kind of neat to see it. They have a newsletter called The Spotter Dude. So that's a better name than C.A.N Grant. Then we're going to talk a little bit about what the Border Patrol is interested in and how we might be able to use your observer skills to assist in their program. And we talk a little bit about then the reporting form, and I put one on the table. If you didn't pick it up, please do it at the break. It's called the salute form, and the SALUTE has meaning for the various elements of the report. And so we'll kind of go over that, and that should be just kind of a useful tool for you to understand what the reporting could be.
If someone didn't get one, I could bring it around. Is there anyone who didn't get this?
Well, it'll be after the break so they can get one, but yeah, please do that. And then we'll just have some Q&As and end the training session, and then we'll go into the tour and have a nice picnic and hopefully have some good socializing. So at this point, then, I'll turn it back over to Lieutenant Vigil, and he'll talk a little bit about the Port Angeles mission and equipment and area responsibility and all that.
Thank you. In the Coast Guard, we have a term, well, I'm sure that out in the industry as well, is death by PowerPoint. Who's heard of that on that? I'm sorry, this is not going to be it. This is not going to be it, but you know, I have so many missions and so many things that I do, traveling between Blaine all the way down to Grace Harbor and meeting with different groups that PowerPoint is the only thing that I have to kind of remind me about some talking points. So I use that as a cheat sheet. So really quick before I kind of get into this, I just want to make sure that everybody's kind of aware of what is the area that we're talking about here that's between Customs and Border Protection, Coast Guard, and all of our other partner agencies we have responsibility for, and that you help us gain a maritime, what we call maritime domain awareness. So you have the Puget Sound area here, and also Straits of Georgia or Vancouver Island, Pacific Shores. Coast Guard Group Port Angeles encompasses all the way out to the exclusive economic zone, U.S. territorial waters, out to the Pacific, all the way down to Grace Harbor, Washington, west, and then up to the Canadian border. We also work with the Canadians on search and rescue missions on that side of the water when they don't have resources available. They request assistance from the U.S. Coast Guard. So obviously we have the Straits of Juan de Fuca, the eastern parts of the strait, and what we like to call the North Puget Sound area, which is the San Juan Islands border region, all the way up to Boundary Bay and Point Roberts area. We start the South Puget Sound, we divide it with Sector Seattle. And it's almost to the area of Useless Bay is where we draw our lines. And then also on the other side of the Saratoga Passage, pretty much our divider line is in Everett. So everything north of Everett and north, and you could say Hood Canal and north is Group Port Angeles area of responsibility. So all of the navigable waterways, north and east, west of there, are Group Port Angeles responsibility. So the Citizen Task Network, we also have, and you'll see, I have a picture of the common operational picture, all of the other citizens that are part of the network. You'll be able to see what is the areas that this network really helps us in maintaining maritime domain awareness. So when we talk about maritime domain awareness, we're talking about everything that happens in that maritime environment, be it environmental, safety, security, homeland defense, also what we like to call sanitation, health, etc. Those are the missions of the Coast Guard. Anything that is in the maritime environment. So just kind of a bigger overview of the area of responsibility for Group Port Angeles. And then at the bottom corner over there you have Sector Seattle's, and then south of that is Group Astoria over in the Oregon side.
That's a whole lot of area.
Yes, it is. Some of the units that we have that Group Port Angeles is a parent command for is Air Station Port Angeles, which is co-located here. Station Quileute River, which is out of La Push. Station Bellingham, out of Bellingham, Washington. Station Port Angeles, which is the small boat station that is also co-located here. And Station Nia Bay, there at the entrance of the Straits. We are also parent command of all of the patrol boats, cutters, that patrol the Puget Sound area and Washington waters all the way out to the Pacific as well. We have Coast Guard cutters Swordfish, Cutty Hunk, Adeli, and Wahoo that are also co-located here at the end of the docks. And then we have Coast Guard cutters Terrapin and Sea Lion that are out of Fairhaven, Washington, up in the Bellingham area. And the Coast Guard cutter Osprey, which is out of Port Townsend. It's the one that you see over there at the marina.